Hello, good morning, gang. So this is going to be a gentler flow for us this morning, a nice sort of meditative way to set up your day or wind down your day. Maybe it's a little break in the middle. But if you want to start just somewhere comfortable, as always, we'll start with a little bit of time in stillness. Very welcome to be seated. I always like to sit on blocks, feels better for my hips and my knees. Some people will feel better with blocks underneath the knees, or you can do a bit of both. And then same, if you normally find that seated unsupported isn't that comfortable, feel free to find a wall that you can sort of lean onto, or you can always start to find any comfortable space lying down. And once you've found where you'd like to be, you can begin taking any little movements that are going to let you start to settle. And then just gently beginning to invite yourself to start to land in your posture. Just slowly and gently. Beginning to collect your focus. Just softly starting to collect your awareness, maybe from your day, from your morning so far. And beginning to draw it into the body. We'll begin with a little bit of time first just to notice where we might be at today. So just taking some time to open to feeling. Noticing if there are thoughts that feel particularly present. If there are emotions or physical sensations, energetic sensations that you can tap into. We do our best not to label these things or not to judge these things. But beginning by just giving ourselves the space to witness them. Just softly meeting yourself there. Time and time again, just drawing yourself back to this place of listening. For many of us, the breath is going to be a really wonderful tool to help with that practice. Start to find a gentle focus, a gentle rhythm you can return to on your breath. You're more than welcome to keep a steady breath today. Or if there's an ujjayi in your practice that would be helpful, you can start to engage that, slowly controlling the breath in the back of the throat. Next, exhale. Let's start to tuck the chin to the chest. And then just gently, gently starting to rock the head side to side. Starting small and subtle with the movement as we start to ease in. And then at your own pace, just slowly beginning to let that expand. Whether it wants to be a full circle or just starting to move freely, figure of 8 or otherwise. Seeing if you can keep the jaw and the face soft as we start to ease in. And as always, if other parts of the body want to start to get involved, if they start to want to move as you ease in, you can let them. just beginning to find your way of starting to connect in. Just always reminding ourselves there's really no right or wrong to movement. In this practice in particular, it's a practice of connecting, of giving back, of attention. So just starting to cultivate that space. Come back to neutral when you feel ready, and we'll sync together movement and breath. Inhale, we'll start to sweep up the arms, lift the hands to prayer, up above the head. And as you exhale, we'll draw them down through center. Just one more like that. Inhale's going to sweep up. This time, bring the right hand down to the ground. And we'll peel the left arm up and over. Inhale to think about tipping the chest slightly up, almost like you're trying to point it to the ceiling. Exhale to close that back down. Almost think chin to chest, like left hand was reaching to the right. One more like that. Inhale's going to open up. Just giving yourself the space to feel. Exhale to round. Now we're going to think about tracing a circle. So his left hand, almost like it was going to reach down to the ground. Maybe some of us, it does reach down to the ground. And then switching sides, that right arm's going to come up and over. Your next inhale, let's open up the chest, tip the heart up. As you exhale, closing it down. One more nice and steady like that. Exhale. Slowly coming back to center. Let's shrug the shoulders up. Feel free to sigh as you draw them down. Let's do one more like that. It can be as noisy or as quiet as you like. Let it go. And then let's slowly start to make our way to the hands and the knees. So just getting there any way that works for you. We'll meet with the hands about shoulder distance apart and the knees about hips distance apart. And then as always, just beginning to ease into these different sort of 4 points of contact. The hands, the other hand, the knee and the foot, and then the other side. Just starting to notice them on the ground. Notice how the sensation shifts, how you let each one support you. Feel free to stay as subtle as you like, or if you want to start to add in your own movements, rippling a little more, maybe coming back to get different sensation in the sides of the body, the chest, the upper back. Just a couple more moments to move in your own way. And then we're going to meet in a child's pose today. Peeling the fingertips forwards, we're going to tent up onto them. Now you're welcome to keep this as it is, enjoy the sensations here. And we're going to take a little bit of a ripple. So as you inhale, lifting the chest gently. Exhale, allowing it to come down. 2 more like that. Inhale, lifts. Exhale down. 1 more. Feel free to exaggerate it a little. And down. Now taking the fingers just a little bit wider than your shoulders, we're going to slide ourselves forward and bringing the body down onto the ground. Okay, from here, similar to what we were just doing, we're going to press through the fingers. Inhale, lift the chest. And as you exhale, looking over the left shoulder. Back through center. Exhale, look over the right shoulder. You're welcome to take one more on either side if you like. Or another suggestion, we'll take it towards a Shalabhasana locust variation. So you're going to inhale to draw the knuckles back. And then think kind of about like you were driving back side to side again. Draw the knuckles to one side, back the other way. And release. Hands back under the shoulders, tuck the toes. And we'll come back to down dog. Take your time to get there. Tucking the toes, lifting the hips. Now, I always like to take my stance quite short. I like quite a lot of support in this pose. So feel free to play with that, stepping the feet in. Might make you want to bend the knees a little bit more, but sometimes that can be nice for more sensation. Let the back of the neck soften. And we're going to take little tiptoes today. Inhale, come to tiptoes. Exhale the heels down. 2 more like that. Inhale, notice the shift of support, of sensation. Exhale it down. Just 1 more there. Taking it down. And we're slowly going to begin to work this right foot towards the top of the mat. So it might come halfway up, or we're going to use a hand to start to take it all the way up. And then we're going to drop that back knee down to come into a low lunge. So get yourself set up here. Your next inhale, we're going to start to sweep up the arms. Let the eyes soften. Ground through the big toes and the back foot. 1 more inhale. Then as you exhale, we're going to open up the arms. Think of a cactus shape and like you are lifting the heart up. Going to take 2 more like that. And you can move with the legs as well as you like. So we'll inhale to draw out the pose slightly. Exhale to open it up, reach back, lean back. Oh. 1 more like that. Inhale. Exhale to open. And from here, we're going to start to take our hands down towards your front foot. This might be a really nice place to use your blocks. We all have different length arms. So it can be nice to give yourself a bit more support. I happen to have really long arms, but yeah, blocks are always a really nice option to bring in here. So we're going to inhale. And as you exhale, start to drop the hips back, and we're going to work towards Ardha Hanumanasana, flexing that front foot. Inhale, lift the chest. I'm going to keep this ripple motion. Exhale. To bring it down, kind of like you were thinking forehead to knee. 2 more like that. Try steady yourself with the sensations. Keep collecting the breath, the focus. Just 1 more there. Pausing here, chin to chest. And then we'll take it into a twist. So start to press into your left hand. We're going to inhale the right arm up. And think about turning back to that right shoulder. 1 more breath. And then we'll start to release. Both hands come back to your blocks or the ground. And we're going to work to a pyramid pose. So bring the weight back into your front foot. And we're working on straightening both of the legs. Then it's going to be a similar feeling. Inhale, top of the head lifts. Exhaling to fold. 2 more like that. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Last one there. And taking your blocks or hands forward, we're going to peel off that back foot to bring the feet next to one another, top of the mat. Inhale, chest lifts. Exhale, fold. 1 more like that. Inhaling to lift the chest. exhaling to fold. We're going to find our way to our second side. Hands can be your blocks or the ground. Start to make your way back to downward facing dog. Okay, second side, left knee is going to start to lift forwards. Foot might come the whole way or halfway towards the top of the mat. And we drop the back knee down. So we're going to take that circle with the arms, inhaling to lift. Exhaling, bend elbows, think of lifting the chest. 2 more like that, inhale. Exhale, open. Last one. And then taking your blocks or hands to the ground, we'll start to work our Ardha Hanumanasana, so half splits. Straightening that front leg, 3 ripples. Heart to big toe. So there's a yogic principle, Asteya, which I've been chatting about in class a little bit, which kind of roughly translates as non-stealing. Now I think not stealing whilst you're on your mat might seem like something that's relatively accessible in a more broader sense. We'll start to twist, press through the right hand, lift up the left fingertips. But there's a couple ways of interpreting this principle, ways we can think about it where it can relate to the mat. So I think non-stealing often refers to, we'll start to make our way to pyramid when you're ready, refers to this not stealing of attention and focus and bringing into our lives things that focus us, that benefit us. Inhaling to lift the chest, things that kind of ground us and nourish us. Be 2 more ripples here. So for me, I know ways that I sort of quote unquote steal from myself would be things like staring into Instagram, letting myself get lost in my phone, or just kind of lost in old patterns of thinking that might not be particularly helpful or beneficial or really necessary in any way. When you're ready, start to take the hands forwards and the feet together. 2 ripples here. But when we think about kind of what the words non-stealing can really mean, or how that could be something that we action, I think a really nice way to think about it is thinking about it as giving. So we start to think about all of the things that we give out during the day. We're going to pause in our fold. You can let the arms dangle. If you're using blocks, you can rest onto them, chin to chest. So all that patience and care, dedication, hard work and love you give out during your day, then your practice becomes a place where you take all of that and you start to funnel it back to yourself. You give yourself all of this time to feel, to center, and essentially at the core of it, to give. So if that feels interesting, maybe you can invite that in to your movements. Okay, let's inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale down. Now we're going to do a little bit of balancing today, but I'm going to take it quite supported. I'm going to use the wall. So if you have a wall or something you can lean onto nearby that you'd like to use, or inhale the arms the whole way up, feel free to take a moment to get yourself set up. I'm going to start with a figure 4. I'm going to mirror you again. So we're going to pick up right leg, and we're going to flex the foot to take it onto the ankle. Then we're going to sit the hips down nice and low. Ooh. So if I'm pressing the knee and flexing the foot, ooh, really helpful here. See if you can lift the chest. One more. And we'll start to come back. Find that press through your left foot. Right leg is going to come back. I'm going to think of squeezing the knees together. If you can, or if you'd like to, you can take both hands back to that foot. Think of tucking the pelvis under. Little squeeze of the foot to the glutes. Squeeze the knees together. and then 2 steady breaths. If it went anywhere else. And then switching sides. So this time it's going to be your left leg to lift. Starting to sit down low, let the knee come out to the side, pressing it down. Explore the sensation. Start to unravel. Same. Now starting to squeeze the foot towards your glute, knees together. Open the chest. And release. Going to bring it down to the ground, and then we'll start to wind it into stillness. Going to take a puppy pose along the way. There's loads of different ways you can work puppy. I'm going to take an option up on blocks today to take it a little deeper in my body. Doesn't have to be one you're interested in. I'll demo a couple others. So we're working on getting the forehead down towards the ground. Some of us it might touch. Some of us it's going to be a nice place to take a block, place the forehead down onto. If you feel like there's more space, you could think about lifting the chin or the chest to the ground, or you can take your hands on top of blocks. So, taking a moment to get set up in your variation. Any pinching in the shoulders, just take your hands a little wider. You can stay in stillness. We'll come back to this rippling, inhaling to lift. Exhaling down. For 2. And for 1. Start to let it release. We're going to take a thread the needle variation, inhaling the right arm up. Exhale, thread the right arm under the left. And allowing the shoulder or the side of the head to come down to the ground. You might stay. You can reach the left arm forwards. Maybe the left leg back. Let's go for 2 more breaths. Almost like you're trying to turn your heart to the ceiling. And then we'll release. Inhale the right arm up. Switching sides. Inhale, the left arm lifts. Exhaling. Bringing it under. Left shoulder. Side of the head down to the ground. It might feel really nice to stay here. Sides of the body are really often different. You can go right hand forward. Maybe even right leg back. Last one here. Start to release. Inhale the left arm up. Okay, let's take it down to the ground. So when you're ready, just bringing yourself to lie down on your back. Give yourself a lovely big squeeze. If there are movements you want to welcome in, feel free to welcome them in. We'll take the left leg long, right leg in, and then peeling the leg over the body. If you have another variation of a twist you'd prefer to be in, feel free to play around. Then once you've found your variation, allow the ground to hold you. Just 2 more breaths. We'll gently unravel and then switching sides. This time left leg comes over. Couple more moments there. And then if there's any last movements you'd like, movements you need before we come to stillness, as always, take some time for you, find where you'd like to be. You're welcome to be in seated meditation. Come to find a Shavasana variation lying down. Take your time if there's any additional layers or anything you want to grab. Any lights you feel like you want to turn down a little bit as we just take a little bit of time to rest. Once you've found where you'd like to be, invitation to welcome in a couple final sighs. If you'd like to stay a little longer, stay as long as you need, as long as you like. If you'd like to begin to return with me, we'll start to deepen the breath. Just gently letting it fill the body. Take any little movements. Maybe give yourself a big squeeze. There are stretches you want to bring in, movements, maybe hands to body. If you want to pause on one side, or take any additional movements before you come to your seat, take your time to be with the body, to take care. But when you do feel ready, we're going to meet up at a seat to close. You can keep the eyes just gently lowered or closing them down if you prefer. Allowing the shoulders to soften and the top of the head to lift. Bring your awareness back to the center of your chest. Use your breath to come back to that same practice that we began with. Cultivating a listening, a noticing, perhaps a holding. Take your hands to prayer at the center of the chest, or rub the hands onto one another. Get some warmth. And then gently placing them over the center of the chest. Take an inhale here. And exhale to close. Thanking yourself for this time. Being grateful for that fabulous body that continues to support you. And acknowledging the practice itself. Thank you so much, gorgeous people. As always, anything you need, questions or anything, just feel free to reach out. If not, keep taking care of yourselves. Lots and lots of love.